shit, I let me in the door. Then I gave your boy a chance, now the youngin' finna blow. It's a shame finna put the game in the figure four. Youngin' first, I'm out that bottom.
Yo, welcome back to my channel. Before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. You ain't gonna like, you ain't gonna comment, but I do appreciate it if you just up at the video. That in this video, we'll be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, but in particular, this is my review for Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, I'm going to try my very best to not spoil the movie, which is going to be really hard because it's so much that happens in this movie that you want to talk about. But I'm going to try to hold my composure for this video. Now, this movie is insanely good. When they were saying that this is going to be the best movie that we've seen in a long time, they were not lying. I loved every minute of this movie to the point where I kept checking how many minutes and how many hours I had left of this movie. I definitely did not want it to end, especially because of the fact that it was going by too fast, but in a good way. Like, so much was happening and a lot of things were being said and certain characters and cameos were popping up very early on, so I kept checking back like, damn, I'm excited, I don't want this to end. And that's mainly because I love seeing characters who you wouldn't expect to be together interacting with each other. I loved it in No Way Home, Spider-Verse, Infinity Wars, Endgame, Civil War, and also Game of Thrones, which review is coming soon, by the way. And I loved it in Deadpool and the Wolverine. I think one of the biggest reasons that a lot of people have with this multiversal arc that Marvel has right now is that characters are just popping up in random movies now. Like, there's no build-up. And that's something that I truly understand, but also understand that if done correctly, can be good, which is what Deadpool and the Wolverine does really well. Nothing felt out of place with the multiversal stuff, mainly because Deadpool and Wolverine get sent to a place which is the void, where anybody can show up. And we've seen a little bit of that in season 1 of Loki, where Loki met a group of other Lokis. So I feel like Ryan used that situation at that particular part in the story to use his creative genius to put certain characters around Deadpool and Wolverine that mesh well together. The chemistry was so good to the point where even though these characters were meeting for the first time, it felt like they knew each other for a long ass time. Now, Deadpool and Wolverine is hands down the best Marvel movie since Endgame. But is it better than Endgame? And the reason why I said Endgame is because a lot of people shit on that movie, and I don't really know why. But the thing is, I hate comparing things that has no business being compared to each other in the first place. I think Infinity Wars and Endgame is in a lane that a lot of Marvel movies can't really fucking touch. I think the only movie that can possibly come close is Civil War, but with me saying that, I still cannot put it anywhere close to those movies. So basically what I'm trying to say is it's kind of asinine to want to compare Deadpool 3, which is Deadpool and Wolverine, to movies like Infinity War and Endgame. It's just different tones that should not really be compared to each other. I think Deadpool 3 should be compared to Deadpool 1 and 2. I also believe that it should be compared to movies like No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness. And by the way, Deadpool 3 is better than both of those movies. Even though I love No Way Home and I love seeing Tom, Andrew, and Toby interact with each other and just see that chemistry bleed onto the fucking screen, the fan that's in me was able to love that movie even with the many plot holes that that movie have. But the critic part of me just could not let those plot holes get a pass. And I'm not saying that Deadpool and Wolverine does not have plot holes, because it definitely has. I noticed 2 of them. But No Way Home just had too much shit that didn't really make fucking sense. And for Multiverse of Madness, even though I love that movie just did something that Deadpool 3 did not do. And that's pretty much treating these variants of these characters as if they mean nothing to the fans. But in Deadpool 3, with the characters that show up, because of the way how they were treated, it seems like they're not regular cameos and that they're here to stick around. Especially with Wolverine. Because the way how the movie ends, it definitely feels like Hugh Jackman doesn't have a problem playing the character Wolverine a little while longer. Not for a solo film, but more say of crossover films and also films that's heavily about the X-Men. And you can't only see that level of excitement within the movie through his acting, but you can also see that level of excitement that got brought back within Hugh in real life. I'm pretty sure when he wanted to retire from the character Wolverine, he definitely felt like he had nothing left to do with this character. And at that time, nobody was thinking about the fucking multiverse. So when you bring in a character like Deadpool, it opens up a brand new door of experiences for Hugh to play as Wolverine. But not just opening up a brand new door for Wolverine, but also opening up a brand new door for the X-Men. Now, this movie is pretty much about family and friendship. I think all of the Deadpool movies have pretty much been about that. And it's a lot deeper when you pull back the layers. Specifically for this movie, it's all about what it means to be a hero. Not only for Deadpool, but also for Wolverine. I believe that they're both trying to understand that. And now I realize what Ryan meant when he said that they're trying to tell the same story in two different perspectives. Because they're pretty much going through the same thing, just with a twist on it. Like Deadpool is trying to fix his situation while trying to learn what it means to be a hero. While on the other hand, Wolverine is saying, fuck it. I don't want to be a hero anymore. How can I ever be a hero ever again, knowing that I couldn't save my family? So in a way, they're both giving each other a second chance. Wolverine is giving Deadpool a second chance at being a good superhero, and also a second chance with his friends and family. While on the other hand, Deadpool is trying to give Wolverine a second chance at being the hero that he once was. A hero that had a name that had so much weight, which is the Wolverine. And the result of him saving Deadpool's friends and family, he was able to gain a new friend, which is Deadpool, and a new family. And I really love how he never wears the mask for majority of the movie, which is a way to show us that he really feels like he can never be Wolverine ever again, and that he can never live up to that legacy that he built. But then he ends up putting on the mask towards the end of the movie, showing us that he's going back to being the hero that he once was. And I think what helped him is what X-23 had told him, which is that you were always the wrong guy. Which means that you are a superhero in your own right. You have done good and bad, but that's who you are. That's what makes you so fucking lovable. And I believe that's something that Deadpool needed to understand as well, because on his journey throughout his movies, he's been wanting to feel wanted. And because you're trying to feel wanted, that causes you to kind of change yourself a little bit. So Deadpool learns that he can still be Deadpool while also being a superhero that means something. Because at the end of the movie, Deadpool and Wolverine did the most selfless thing they ever did in their entire life. But I enjoyed the movie. I loved it. I loved how insanely funny it was. I know that some people have a problem with it being too funny. And all I'm saying is, like, damn, like, y'all do know that Deadpool is a funny character, right? Like, what the fuck? Now I'm just wondering what's next for Deadpool. What's next for the Wolverine? Like, I'm really trying to figure that out, because it really can go in any direction after this movie. But this is the end of the video. You ain't gotta like, you gotta comment, but I do appreciate it if you just somebody if you're new. And I'm out, bro.
Hey, so what if the niggas paid more? I knew my time would come and had to wait for it. So every night a nigga pray for it. Ain't no going back, the only way is for it. See, some people they weren't made for it. They roll it, fit my real like it was made.